A special auction. Once upon a time, there was a man who lived frugally to acquire artworks he adored, amassing a collection of masterpieces. In a particular year, their nation became embroiled in a war, and his only son enlisted in the military. Before long, the father received news that his son had made the ultimate sacrifice on the battlefield. Initially retreating to safety, his son had returned to rescue injured comrades, carrying them to safety one by one. Tragically, as he carried the last comrade to safety, a bullet struck him down. On the first Christmas after his son's passing, the doorbell rang. The father answered and found a young man standing there. The young man said, "Sir, you might not know me, but I am the wounded soldier your son carried when he sacrificed himself." With tears in his eyes, he continued, "I am not wealthy, and I possess nothing of value. I remember your son mentioning your love for art. Although I am not an artist, to express my gratitude for your son's life, saving act, I have painted a portrait of him. I hope you will accept it." The father accepted the package, unwrapping it layer by layer, and held the portrait the young man had painted. He removed a famous painting from above the fireplace and replaced it with his son's portrait. Tearfully, he said to the young man, "My child, this will be my most treasured possession. To me, it is more valuable than any other item I have ever collected." A year later, the father passed away, and all his artworks were set for auction on the following Christmas. Surprisingly, the first item for auction was his son's portrait, not the renowned artworks everyone had expected. Attendees insisted that the auctioneer proceed directly to the famous paintings. However, the auctioneer stated, "We must auction this portrait first before moving forward." At that moment, an elderly man stood up and said, "Sir, may I offer $10? It is all the money I have." I knew this young man. He sacrificed himself to save his comrades. The auctioneer agreed, and just as people were eagerly anticipating the main event, he announced, "Thank you all once again for your presence. Today's auction is now concluded." The audience was left in shock, wondering why the main event had not been auctioned. The auctioneer, with a serious expression, declared, "As per the father's will, whoever purchases his son's portrait will possess his entire collection." That was the reserve price. Collectors rushed to purchase the famous paintings, unaware that the portrait the elderly man had acquired for $10 was the most valuable item among all the exhibits.